First, let me introduce myself. My name is Surikov. I'm Project Manager International Business by SIBB. And what is SIBB? SIBB is the digital business station of Berlin-Brandenburg. We exist from 1992 and unite more than 250 small and medium IT enterprises of the region. And through a lot of our events, we have 13 different forums. And I'm happy to announce that today it's the first event of our Subscription Economy Forum. And in this forum, we will discuss industry's best practices that address all phases of the sales cycle for software subscriptions and SaaS business model. We will try together with our speakers identify different strategies to increase the rate of subscription contacts and provide some best practices that could increase customer success and increase the long-term retention of an existing account. Today on the back, I have Magdalena, my colleague. She helps us to handle with the chat and questions. Right now we will start with 3 presentations. And after that, you'll have a chance to ask our speakers questions. To ask a question, please write it down in the chat and I will announce it. Otherwise, please raise your hand and I will invite you to speak and unmute yourself. With all that said, I think we are ready to start with our first presentation made by Lenny Chemaly and Christian Chemaly, co-founders of Puls, Stork, GmbH, Berlin. So, Lenny, Christian, stage is yours.
Thank you, Nikolai. Well, everybody, good afternoon. My name is Chris, and I'll be talking today on behalf of Puls Stork. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's very special to be on the first speaker on the first panel of the new forum. So that's really exciting. So the presentation today will focus mostly on subscription or no subscription. That is the question. So it's geared toward companies, founders, entrepreneurs who want to get into the subscription economy and are still asking themselves questions. So quickly, this is me. I'm Chris. Just for you to know who's speaking. I'm born in Lebanon. I studied engineering, and after studying, I went to Germany. My first experience in Germany was in Hamburg. Spent 4 years studying at the TU in Hamburg, and I have that built this very special relationship with Germany. After Germany, I started working as a product manager. I've been doing product management for the past 12 years in different countries, different companies. Worked with startups in London, worked with startups in Germany, and I've been managing Puls Stork for the past 8 years in New York, in the US. Well, that's for the work part. If you want to have an interesting chat with me, agile development is really something I enjoy a lot. Product management is kind of my technical passion. And life as an entrepreneur is something that's really challenging. I had a lot of conversation with people about it based on previous experiences. So if you have any of these topics or other that you'd like to discuss, please email me and we can have a cool conversation. So Puls Stork, really, who's Puls Stork? So we're a company that helps founders conceive, prioritize, and build digital products that they need. And why do we say conceive and prioritize? Because we've seen in the market, there's a lot of dev shops or development companies. And there's a big hurdle that founders and that clients hit is that they don't exactly know what their requirements are. They don't know, they have a sort of vision in mind that they want to apply. They try to replicate a model that has a lot of features that that they're not really ready to build. And with this where you come in, we add this product management dimension to the development, and we help you as a founder put your ideas in place, make sure that they align with the business model, and also create a roadmap that fits your budget and your timeline. We started as a low-tech product service. So we were focusing mostly on tools that don't need development, where you can do stuff by yourself using WordPress, using Zapier, using Airtable. So really low-tech solutions. And gradually we evolved into a full-fledged development company, product development company. Now in the past 7 years, we focused a lot on the US. So we've worked with many startups in New York and California mostly, and we've been expanding we've been coming back to the European, to the German market as of this year in Berlin. So, but really now, a company is really about people, and who is Polar Stork? So this is what we are. We're a team of people who want to make things happen. We love technology in any shape or form. So, and we're remote first. So we've started as a remote company. We embrace remote from the day zero, and we've been leveraging it. And I think we found a really good balance between remote working and different time zones. So also remote working is something that I really like to talk a lot about. So if you have questions about that, feel free to ping me. Right. So basically today, for the sake of this presentation, I wanted to start with a few questions, and these are all based on client meetings, on interviews that I've had with clients or potential clients, and where there was a conception that if I want to move to a subscription, I click a checkbox and I move into subscription, which is very not much the case. And I'm sure the speakers after me will give you more about their personal experience, that it's not that straightforward. But the first question you want to ask yourself is really, is the subscription the right solution for me? And the subscription model is really based on the product you have and the customers you have and your operation. So there's a lot of factors that you want to take into account. And if you as a business are ready to take over this challenge. The second question you want to ask yourself is, do you really need a subscription? And again, there are different ways to achieve a recurrent payment to increase your customers' purchase rate. There are different solutions like a referral model where people refer another and get bonuses, or loyalty plans where you get points whenever you make a purchase. These are all based on one-off purchases. So you don't have to make a subscription, you don't have any commitment, but you encourage your users to refer to others or to keep on purchasing. And the third question also I've seen a lot with startups I've worked with is that sometimes you try to validate the product and sales strategy in the same time. So let's say you're selling a meal plan, and so you want to change the meal plan that you're selling, and you also want to make a subscription out of it. And by making these two changes together, it becomes very difficult to validate what you're doing. So this is something in the basics of product evolution, but try to minimizing changes and making sure that really what you're trying to do is to look for a subscription, or if you're looking for a change in your model itself. So these are, for me, kind of the main question that I see have had the most impact with people when they come to starting subscriptions. Now, I think there are a lot of terms in the subscription world, but I think these are probably the four that I would consider the most important, which are the LTV, the CAG, retention, and churn. So LTV is the lifetime value, and it's basically if you sell a product that costs you 10 euros and you sell it at 20 euros, so you're making 10 euros out of it. if your customer over their lifetime, they buy from you 5 times, so you're making a lifetime value of your customers of 50 euros, 5 times 10, 50. The CAC is the cost of acquisition. So it's a cost, it's what it costs you as a company to acquire a user or a subscriber in this case. The CAC is probably also one of the factors that I see people in their business models underestimate the most. So you launch a product and you want to get users, but it costs a lot of money to get to these users before you start making money out of them. This is really combined with the cash flow idea, the fact that you have to have cash at hand. But to keep things really minimal, CAC is the cost of acquiring a customer, and LTV is how much money you're going to make out of these customers over their whole lifetime. Retention is how long you're keeping, or how frequent, how long you're keeping your customers, so retaining them. And churn is the kind of the opposite, is at which rate they drop out of your model or of your business. So then I started about talking about the pros. Okay, if I want to make a subscription business, obviously increasing LTV is something is one of the most critical elements. So when you have a product that where you make 10 euros, and by using subscription, you can convince a user to purchase 5, 6, 10 times, they're gonna be paying 50, 60, 100 euros. So, and if your LTV is higher than your CAC, so if you spend less money acquiring these customers, if you spend 30 euros to acquire customers, knowing that they're going to stay for 10 months and make 100 euros out of it, you know that this is a 70 euro margin, really in very, very simplistic terms, without accounting for different expenses. Which means that if you spend more money on acquisition, you're going to make more money, and then your model is pretty straightforward. And this is something that people, investors specifically, feel very safe with. And this is one of the easiest way to convince investors that this business will work, because I know I can make 15 euros on users, I can keep them for 5 months. It's a simple number games. Also, having a higher LTV will allow you to have more acquisition budget. So instead of spending €1 to get a user, you can now spend 30 euros because you know that you're going to get 100 out of them. And it's also very convenient, because for the users, they come in, they do the effort once, they put a credit card, they subscribe, and then the rest of the process is very seamless. So there's a very low effort for users. And at the same time, it's also one of the pros in subscriptions that I've seen among our customers is that when you have a low subscription fee, people forget to cancel, or sometimes they're too lazy to cancel. So and this is something you see in daily life also when you look at Netflix subscription, for example. The time to go and find where you sign out of it, and when you unsubscribe and click all the whole flow, you say, well, maybe I just do one more month, I can watch one more movie. The Netflix example actually also very good, and we've seen this also with 12 Years Subject, a football website that we've worked on. It's the FOMO, the fear of missing out, meaning that you don't want to cancel because maybe this month you're going to use it. Maybe this is the month where you're going to make use of it. You're going to get your money back. You spend these 3 months, you didn't use it, but the next month, I'm sure I'm going to use it. So that's really one of the aspects that you see in the user's behavior that are very attractive in subscriptions. From a business perspective also, as well as from a user perspective, predictability is a big attracting point in subscriptions, because as a business, you can predict how much money you're going to make, because you know that if you have 50 subscribers this month, you're probably going to have 50 next month. Well, we take into account churn, maybe 45 next month. So you already know how much money you're going to have in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 months. So you can predict your revenue, you can plan your expenses. Also, from the user perspective, they know that they're going to get this service on a frequent basis. So if you're doing again a meal subscription, you know that every Tuesday you're going to get food. So so that also provides some sort of predictability for the user and the convenience at the same time. And the last point that's also very interesting in subscription, that you can build patterns based on users' behavior, because you know how frequently people come, and you know exactly how they interact with your product. You can build patterns around it. When you have one-off purchases, it's a bit more difficult, because it's like you're starting a love story over and over again. Every time you have to get introduced, to get them to the site, to make the purchase. So it's a more haphazard process. Oh, that's really nice. You got all the pros, but really there's a few cons that you need to take into account if you want to get into subscription. First of all is, like we said, higher CAC. So you need to spend more to acquire customers. If you're looking to start your business and you need at least 1,000 users to start generating revenue, you have low subscription fees, and you have high cost of acquisition, you know that you will need a few months at least to cover your cost. Also, the churn is very important point, because you spent a lot of money to get these people. So every time you lose somebody, it's a big loss, and also it's really hard to get them back. Unlike when people buy one off, they might think of going back in a couple of months, but once you unsubscribe, it's usually in your mind you're not going to go through the whole process again. From product perspective, you have more friction. So you need people to create accounts. You need people to do more information, to give you more information. And you need more commitment. So it's way easier to get to one-off sale than to get one subscriber. And there's the whole experience becomes more complex, because you don't only have a shopping cart. You list your product, you have a checkout page, and you go. But you have much more in interaction to take into account with your customers. And you have to accommodate for a lot of new flows. And this really, I'm talking more on the development side and on the user experience side. You have to account how you handle refunds, how you like people change orders. You make a subscription, you want to change your plan. You want to upgrade your plan, want to upgrade your plan. You paid already, but now you want to change. So all these kind of scenarios, and you have to take them into account when you're starting your business. And you have to also to build your product. So there's an extra layer of complexity that you're putting on yourself. Moreover, it's a commitment. So when you start, I see this with startups, that you don't really know where you're going to put your pricing. You put a low price to start getting users, and then you see that you're not making money, so you want to upgrade your plans, but you cannot just force your old users to pay more now. So you have to respect their old plans. At the same time, also, you have to respect all plans on a technical level, on a product level. So if you used to offer different services before, you have to make sure that people who had these services, have had these user flow, who used to go to these pages, are still taken into account. So this will increase also your technical debt as a product. Another con that is very frequent that we see is that people abuse free trial or low cost first months. You create new email address, you take the first month for free, and you cancel, you do it again. This is something that's seen a lot in the food business also, where they give you the first 2 months for very cheap, and a lot of people join for the first 2 months and then just drop out. And the last 2 points I think are super important, and it's really just checking the chat, see if I thought this was a question for me. It's really important. It's the high expectation from subscribers. And this is probably the most challenging operationally. I can give examples here. So we have one website called 12aside where they provide tips for football games to help people do better bets. Once you commit to them that your subscription will give you one free tip every day, you have to create this one free tip every day. You cannot say, this month I'm just going to let it be and I don't have time, or we don't have the resources to provide this. You need a free tip every day, and people expect from you more now. Similarly, also on the food business, when people subscribe for a food subscription, they don't want to get bored. So you need to create new menus very frequently. You need to keep up your game. So there's also a high demand from the business side. It's very different on the SaaS side, and I'm sure this will be tackled in the services in the talks after this one. But when you're offering a product, a physical product, when you're offering an opportunity, you need to be very respectful of that. And the last thing also that you have a high dependency on subscribers. So you've worked a lot, you've paid a lot of money to get these subscribers. The moment that something goes wrong, you lose a lot of subscribers, you're really back to square zero. It's a lot of hassle to get these people back on. So in the same way that they're providing you with predictability, you also have very high dependency on them. Hope I'm not going too fast. I hope it's not too boring. So yeah, a couple of subscriptions that you've seen. So constant access at a fixed price. So something like Netflix, or in our case, 12 Aside, where you know that you're paying this amount of money every month and you're getting access to everything on the product. Recurrent modifiable orders are way more challenging. So that's like in the food business, for example, where you have a subscription to a meal order, but you can change every month. This month I don't want chicken, I don't like this spicy dish, and so on. And you have the fixed quantity at a fixed price, something like Shutterstock, for example, where you pay 29 euros a month, you get 10 downloads every month. So it's a fixed price and it's a fixed quantity. It's also a digital service. And on the flip side, you've seen people subscribe for almost anything. Subscription has been going crazy, especially in the US. We've seen this a lot. So products like Harry's razors, where people subscribe for a razor every month, or a toothbrush, or one of our clients, Eat of Beat, they're doing meal box deliveries. So everything can be created as a subscription as long as you find the right behavior and the right client niche. On the level of SaaS, obviously, there's a lot of different products, and I think that the last one that I think is very interesting is opportunity. So when you sell an opportunity, it's something like app, which I'll talk about in a second. But for example, gyms is really an opportunity to go there. People don't always use everything that's happening in the subscription, but there's always an opportunity to go and do some exercise. That's for example, 12 Aside, one of our clients. You see here that on the advanced plan, they have 8 daily predictions. They have 1 live prediction during the weekend. So these are things that they need to be preparing and delivering. Again, at the startup level, it can be challenging to always be providing content. Another one that I find very interesting is the app. Also a product we worked on, and they offer a free appetizer every day. So it's something that people might use or not, but they also have a fixed price per month, and they get an opportunity. I think I exceeded a bit my time. I'll wrap up with basically there are different ways to implement subscriptions. They're extremely straightforward way with existing plugins with third parties like WooCommerce, like Shopify, like Wix. You can also have your custom platform and integrating a payment gateway like Stripe, like Braintree, where they handle all the subscription and you connect your users to the system. Or you can have a full custom implementation with your own user flows, your own variables, your own processes, and so on. Thank you very much for listening. I hope there were a few interesting points in the presentation. And please don't be a stranger, reach out. And if you have any question, or if you want to talk about your business or about any of the topics we discussed before, this is my email, me and Lenny, and we can find us on the website as well.
Christian, thank you very much for the overview of subscriptions and really giving us all the glossary we need for the understanding. It's very important, the frame of this forum. And as you mentioned, yes, the time was a little bit exceeded, but I think we still have time for a short question from Amadeus in our chat. The question is, are freemium subscriptions a good model to have low customer acquisition costs?
They are Well, it's not directly related. So when you have in the premium module, you have a lower barrier of entry, so you can have people join your site with less friction. But also, these are people who are coming not to pay, so it makes it a bit more challenging to convert them to paying customers. So a lot of the conversion rate between freemium and paid users is usually very low. So it's a good way, but it's not an indicator.
Okay, thank you very much for answering that. After presentations, we will have time for more questions and answers with all of our speakers. And at this moment, let's continue with our next speaker. In the meantime, Christian, could you, stop seeing the screen, and I pin our next speaker. Okay, Stanislav, Stas, where are you? Here, I have found you. One moment. Just let's spotlight. Okay, great. So we have today with us Stas from Puls project, and Stanislav is an expert in banking finance, and as Chief Operation Officer of Puls project, he implements his know-how of creating things from scratch in the financial market to build a unique tool for social media or small media enterprises. Stas, stage is yours.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you today, guys. So just to repeat what was just said, I am COO and actually a co-founder of Puls. My background is pretty boring and traditional. I work in banking since mid-90s, and the product itself is pretty specific and pretty professional to a certain extent. It's aiming our client target audience is owners and managers of small businesses who we provide a certain specific financial services, which is a active cash reserves and cash flow management, including immediate receipt of additional capital of up to 100,000 on demand from our own fund, which we recently registered with the German financial regulator. And we're able to do it because on top of that, we offer our customers a very convenient treasury management system where our clients are able to pay and plan all their payment activity. It's bank neutral, obviously, and no matter what banks are you using, you can always use it with this platform. And this data, this user service allow us to make loans available immediately without a single additional document or any forms of guarantees or credit checks or verifications. So this is the product. I will probably skip this pretty detailed explanation. It's too professional. I'll go straight to the subscription economy. Yes, obviously we've chosen a subscription model for our business. The reality is that financial sector and the banking especially is using this model for quite some time already. Even before the the internet revolution, all the fees and commissions that you've been paying to your banks, they were reminding you of modern what's now called a subscription model, and that was very natural because this is convenient to the customers. This allows you to wrap up your products and your services in a way that is designed for a specific client audience or specific client niche. It's easier to change pricing or adjust pricing as the time goes and as the competition react to your activity. And so this is a natural way for a financial service to build, your monetization model. For us, the main benefit from the subscription model is exactly a customer-centric approach. That's how modern business works. You cannot build one product forever. You will face competition immediately. I mean, there are so many competitors at the moment in any market field and niche that you'll be copied. You'll be or you will just have a convergent evolution next to you. People will think the same ideas. They will execute it a bit differently, but they will be competing with you. So in order to be flexible, in order to adapt, in order to be able to inject new ideas, new products into your pipeline, you have to build your products the way that they are adjustable and customizable. That's why it's not about the end product. It's actually about constant evolution. And the only good model which fits it at the moment from the business financial perspective is actually subscription model. So I would agree a lot to Christian, who gave us very good introduction to all the terms and ideas behind this. I would say that a lot of those things do not apply to those specific products like ours. For instance, we do use a freemium model. And the reason we do this is actually to make, as Christian mentioned, I like this idea and phrase that it's just make the user onboarding smoother. You want to have user try your service before they make their mind. And this way you spend a bit less time on sales effort because you don't need your salesperson to spend time on explaining everything. You actually can just give access to your product. And if the UX is good, the client will figure it out for themselves. But we are not afraid of, for instance, this, drop-offs and reconnect again, because after all, we're working with the companies, and companies are very easily identifiable. So we always know who we're working with, and we have to by law. A lot of those small things are not applied here. And I genuinely think that actually the whole world is moving to the subscription economy more and more, and it's natural evolution. It's just goes hand to hand with the improvements of technologies. It's just now possible. I remember ourselves 10, 20 years ago offering financial services. It was actually hard operational job to issue so many invoices to charge clients every month, and it was a semi-manual process. You had to process all these things. You had to connect and talk to your clients, remind them of paying those invoices. With the automation, it's just not the issue anymore. You can actually buy those products off the shelf. So it's now, you probably would want to have some combination of subscription and service or product-based commissions. Same as what we do, for instance. We charge subscriptions for the SaaS services, and we do charge traditional interest income for the loans. But generally speaking, nothing stops us in the future, if we see it makes sense for a certain client audience, to include certain interest income into the subscription as well. depending on the pattern of the certain client audience. So the approach allows us to be very flexible. And yeah, just to remind that this is very simple message, what this product is about. And I will be probably short. Now, answering the question actually of whether the freemium model lowers the customer acquisition cost. It does indirectly a bit, but you should be very careful here because in the modern economies, in the modern products, it's so easy to push the prices down to a zero without even noticing it. So you can actually kill your own market offering everything for free. Be careful with that and consider how you're actually gonna switch back to paid services. Otherwise, it's a race to zero, as we call it. I've seen this many times in different financial markets. It happens really with the speed of light. That would be my question about the freemium. Oh, sorry, answer. That's it. That's it from my side. I just don't want to waste too much time on presenting too much about Puls. We can always answer any questions if they come after the meeting. And now, I guess, if Nikolai allow me, feel free to ask any questions.
So thank you very much for the presentation. And I would like to refer a little bit to our rehearsal yesterday when you mentioned that we don't need to prove each other that subscription economy is a great way to go. But still we could discuss what's the best way to adapt it for our business. And thank you for providing, I think, unique arguments that subscription works for everyone different. That's something we need to remember. There is no all like recipes that's one for all, the subscription. I have a question from my side first. And maybe it's not applying to this project exactly. Could you elaborate? Some users, they just come for specific service, just needed once. Like let's say you subscribe for Netflix because you want to watch a specific movie and then you don't need the subscription anymore. And question to you, is there anything possible to do with such a user, like this one-time users, one-time customers? How to convert them to remaining customers?
Well, that's well, first of all, there will be churn rate, right? As always, there are users which will drop off, and it is a basically a game of statistics and game of financial planning to make sure that you don't have you have only this much of such users so that your final model is profitable. But obviously, and that's what everybody is trying to do, is you are trying to offer to those users, better solutions. You reminding them if they drop off, nothing stops you to coming back. And that's where probably the freemium model works best, because if they downgrade to the free model and keep being on your platform, that's actually a very good way to keep communication channel open, and then probably at some point get back to them, maybe at some point when they need another movie. So I guess there's no silver bullet here. It's always like a process of winning your customer and retaining your customer. We in our project actually working from two sides, right? We offer financing, which is actually very valuable, generally very valuable proposition for the businesses. We are a business ourselves, and we all know that there are super cash-rich businesses, but even the profitable businesses sometimes need a extra cash to either grow or just go through the small gap. So this part allow us to be interesting for most of the businesses forever. And even if they don't want to use the platform or don't find it super, convenient for them specifically, or they use something else, there is this free version where we tell them, hey guys, be with us, keep in loop. If you need this very valuable product, you obviously can use it anytime. In the meantime, we will obviously try to convince them that our software product is also something that helps them to get more out of us.
Oh, thanks for the explanation. And I move forward to the next question by Mehdi. What can be the most convincing for people to actually choose subscription-based service?
Let me then ask additional question. Convincing for people, you mean the businesses to choose the model, or for users to buy a service based on subscription? I guess if we talk about the users, then it seems cheaper, right? It seems cheaper at the first glance. It's just you are not paying the actual whole price of the product, because the product can be actually pretty expensive. It's like a simple financing, right? You just pay a more wider product and more expensive product, but in a small installments over time. That's how I as a user this process. Like, if I'm not educated user, from just like looking at it from first glance, it just seems easier to use. Rather than buy an expensive thing. In this case, for me as a user, it's more commitment. It's more focused choice I have to make. I have to really make sure that I'm paying good money for, like, big money for something that I will be using long time at least. It depends on the service, obviously. That would be my question. My answer.
And I think you also mentioned from business side that doing subscription today is a matter of survival in the future.
For the businesses, for the business owners, right? For us as entrepreneurs, I guess it's just a natural evolution. I don't want to say that everybody should do it, but there will be guy, next door who will sell your product on a subscription basis at some point. And what are you going to do? Your customer will just go and buy your product, or will be able to use your product at a fraction of the price you're asking. So that's a bit of a competition game rather than a careful choice. There are very specific products out there that are so unique, so that you can actually ask any price for this and you will still sell it. But if we're talking about more mass products, more kind of digital and wide distributions, then reality is that subscription model is easier and easier to implement. There are a lot of tools that you can use just to have it off the shelf. And then your competitors will do it if you don't.
Hey, that was a great answer. And thank you, Stanislav, for your presentation. And sure. I think we are ready to move to our next speaker. Okay, I put spotlight on Daniela Schiffer. And let me introduce Daniela. Daniela is co-founder and CEO of Changes.com Berlin. And Changes is the idea of an ecosystem fighting climate change by issuing a climate currency based on CO2 saving. And I also would like to highlight that Changes is part of the Berlin SIBB Startup Accelerator focusing on a sustainable future. And Daniela, from this moment, the stage is yours. Good luck.
Perfect. Well, first off, thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much also for everyone being here, and for my other speakers, especially to Christian, to putting out the ground so well. So actually everything subscription-based is already explained. We don't have to go there. I will be talking mostly from a product-based approach. So I will be presenting what Changers does and why we decided back in the days to offer a SaaS, an SDK, white labels. We have our product in several features or feature sets. With Changers, we incentivize and we gamify change of behavior. This can be sustainable behavior, this can be healthy behavior. We have customers in the companies, corporates. This can be companies with 25 employees. We have customers with several 100,000 employees. So we can cater to every size. And we can, and the second part is we have cities and communities who use our application to drive, for example, green mobility in their cities, to incentivize some sort of green bonus point system if you want to. So what we do is we have a mobile application, people can download it, can register, and then for every kilometer walked, cycled, or taken by public transit, you save CO2. And for these CO2 savings, you can earn coins. And then these coins you can redeem then on our marketplace for products and services. So it's we have a machine learning system sitting behind on the background and analyzing your mobility types. So this is mostly done in an automatic way. And we have other drivers to increase retention, to also reach a broader group of users. So we try to cater for all different kind of user groups. This can be people who are rather intrinsically motivated by planting trees, or who just want to have an extrinsic motivation, which is I earn coins, I get a bonus for that. We have the classical participations based on CO2 savings, based on kilometers walked and cycled. And we have certain targets that you can reach with your company or your city. So basically here you can see competitions works always very well. It's really funny, the moment you have a number sitting in front of your name, you really get into these kind of a competition with your peers, and this works very well, especially in companies, departments, locations, etc. Tree planting is our secret weapon, basically. So we use tree planting everywhere, and for every company, also to reward when you close a subscription. So when you come to our page and you create an account as an organization, we plant trees for you. So this tree planting thing is something that works incredibly well, and it's something that we can gamify again. So if you have every time you plant a new tree, there's a new little image, and then we can customize these images, etc., etc. So there's a lot of room to play with this and to add some more fun to it. Then of course redeeming your coins, very important. We have local partners. You have of course also online shops. So there's all different ways on how you can then actually redeem the coins you have earned in different parts, in different cities, but also online. And this is basically the place where our journey towards a SaaS app and subscription started. We started to, of course, build first an administration interface for ourselves. You must imagine the business we are working in, corporate wellness, and CSR within corporations, it's extremely conservative. It's extremely traditional. People expect you to come do workshops. It's very, very consulting incentives. We are nerds. We hate talking to people. So we really, really try to find ways on how can we streamline the process in order to just increase the number of customers we can support. So we still have, of course, people that visit our website and then still write us an email or give us a call and want to get an introduction by us and have them present their app. So we didn't get away completely, but we can tell people, oh, if you want to test our service, go to our website, click on the top, there's a button, 14 days free trial, and you can check it out. It doesn't always work, unfortunately. So we still have companies who, before they contract us, have never downloaded our app, have never tested the services, but are willing to pay several thousand euros to use our services. So especially in Germany, this is, but we're getting there. So we have a customer base which is not used to digital services at all. So, and back when we started using our admin interface, giving access to it to our users, and so slowly introducing the subscription so that you can also do payments via our page. So this was really a step-by-step process. I think we were the first in the market. All our competitors are far more expensive than us because they live from consulting. That's what they get paid for, basically. And we really try to have something that is digital, that is a SaaS tool for a service that has formerly been based on a lot of consulting. And we, of course, also do work with other partners. So if you have some sort of wellness coach or other providers of health services within the company, they can come to on top of our platform. So it's not that we're pushing them aside, but we see ourselves a little bit as the technical platform on the bottom, and we accompany the company on their journey towards a more digital corporate wellness management. So that's basically the idea, and it really came out step by step. So for us, it was not a decision from one day to another to say, okay, we're going to start a subscription-based model. It was more of a journey, and it came out of the system. And we were quite lucky that at the end it turned out so well, because where we are standing right now, this was absolutely not planned 3 years ago. So this is on the one side. So we have the customer-facing front, where we have the features we offer, and on the back end we also have basically an open data system, so we can communicate with a variety of partners. For the mobility, the machine learning software, this is actually also a startup based in Potsdam, Motion Tech. We are working with them so that we use their software in order to analyze mobility. We also have an algorithm for analyzing and getting a health score for you. And then again, you get rewarded with coins if you do certain things. We can do this for energy, for water, for heat. This is under an NDA currently, so I'm not just able to disclose it, but what we are working here is to gamify your energy or your water consumption. And this can all happen within our platform. So we have built something that is extremely modular. We give a lot of freedom to our users to choose what kind of features they want to use. To give you an idea, this is what our SaaS app looks like. So it's a Changer CO2 Fit. We have a variety of customers. Currently, we are translated into 13 languages. We see ourselves as a global company because basically the service we have can be just multiplied in whichever company we work with. We are, I said, and because we use the very lean model of offering our services as a software as a service, we can also offer competitive pricings. And just 3 weeks ago, we actually launched a new pricing and now have basic and premium, because we were seeing that a lot of people were trying to pay as little as possible and then still be calling us all the time. So right now, and now we install something basic. You just get the software, and premium, you get an accountant and someone to talk to and to call to you, and you can use our help desk. So we are also learning and in progress, but as said, so this is something we introduced just recently. Then we do white labels. So you can see the app is quite similar, but we have another skin, we have other features. We can customize the languages, the content, etc. This is for Allianz, and we're working with them on a global level. This is displayed or shown to all of the employees worldwide. And it's a standalone app. So the Well Together app can just be downloaded from the app stores. And they commissioned the app, and they didn't have to build everything themselves, but they could use our basically platform and just customize it into a white label. Sorry. And then we have something which is looking quite differently. This is what we offer to our customers in cities. This is a web app that can be integrated, either a standalone app, or we can add it as some sort of piggyback app on top of an existing app, and just add this additional feature of incentivizing and rewarding green mobility. So here, basically what happens is that, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but basically you can see that you have this coin design, and the more you move, you walk, you cycle, you use public transit and save CO2, your coin gets built. And once it's full, you have saved a full 5 kilograms of CO2, and you get one, here it's called Chemaly. And then you can see how your efforts are being done this year. You have teams with your city districts, etc., etc. Tree planting, of course, it's always there, very important. For Vienna, and this will be the last example, for Vienna, we did a culture token. It was called Vienna Culture Token. So here, again, you saved, I think with them it was 10 kilograms of CO2, you got 1 token, and then you could redeem it for theater, for a museum ticket, for a ticket to the concert hall, etc. So this was from the mayor, a gift to the citizens in order to say thank you for doing something good for the city. We were, when I prepared for this meeting, I really thought on why did we embark on a journey, and what can we offer our customers in terms of streamlining the business in a way to offer subscription-based services. As said, the business we are in is not one which is very open to subscriptions. It's still, we still have a lot of consultancy, even today, but it has become a lot less. So we are able to slowly but steadily increase the number of customers who use our SaaS app without ever talking to us. For me, that's always the biggest win. So when I just see, okay, there's a new subscription popping up and I have never talked to them. Currently, we are a team of 12 people, and we have almost 20 apps out there. The whole system, no matter how the UI looks like, so all of these different apps, they're all based on one backend, and they're all sourced by one single, basically, source of truth. This makes us super efficient and very, very lean on the one side. This also allows us to offer a certain pricing where we can be at least the same or lower than our competitors. So it's a very efficient use of our resources. So main reason is, of course, pricing. We can offer attractive prices, but something that hasn't been done before also is that we give our users a lot of our companies, and not the end users, but the companies, our customers, a lot of freedom to choose and to manage their own content. So this, I think I had it somewhere, where do we have it here? So basically where our journey started, our admin interface offers customers a level of customization, of choosing what kind of incentives they want to do, if they want to plant trees, what kind of challenges they want to do. They can get all sorts of reports, etc. So this is something that wasn't there in the market. Slowly but steadily, people are kind of copying us. But this is something that we have seen that we had also to teach the customers that this is available and that this is actually a value and that they are not afraid of it. So I had users where I at the end was doing all the administration, all the checks, because they were afraid to enter and to break something. This is especially valid for German customers. So we're getting there. So it's digital transformation in Germany is a long journey, but it's getting there slowly, but steady, and we're doing our little part there. But the idea is really to offer not only for us a very lean system, but also to our customers an efficient use of the resources and to be very, very modular. With the different possibilities they have, so they don't have to call us every time they want to change something. They can do it themselves, they can plan ahead, and they can really, really increase the retention rate just by gamifying the kind of how they use and how they introduce the app. Of course, we have all these green products and services. I think I have shown a quick glance of the marketplace. Currently, what we are doing is we are building some sort of climate partner portal. This means that we are also automating the seller part. So currently we are talking to people who offer us discounts and prices and offers. And in the next step, we want to do this in a way that people can enter their offers themselves and we don't have to talk to us again. Of course, we're going to check every offer. So this is not a free kind of market. But we also want to streamline this part of the service, and then of course make it in a way that it can be really used throughout all of our apps. So one vendor, one local, what could it be? Training, someone who does, I don't know, bike gear, and they have an online shop and they enter a 20% discount to be added to their website. And we can, with one click, we can ship this discount code to all of our apps and to all of our customers who are using SaaS, who are using white label and are using our SDK, because it's one system. And this is something that we are now seeing that once set up, it can really, really grow quite quickly. And then of course, because it's all set up on one system, we can also get valuable insights and data, especially when we're talking to cities. They are at some point interested to, of course, get anonymous data on mobility patterns, etc., etc. So yeah, I think this was a little bit another insight from a very product-based view on how the whole journey of doing subscription-based services and how to digitalize a business which is actually very, very analog has been going so far. And we can really say that especially the past 2 years have been good to us, luckily. And we have seen that also the openness to use these kind of services have increased. So we are quite positive that this will move on. So thank you very much. Questions?
Daniela, thank you a lot for this wonderful presentation and showing us the product side of subscriptions. That's a really good benefit to our forum. And I hope that we all will learn from that. I also really liked one idea that has been reflected in all 3 presentations today, that subscription is not about ownership, but about the access. And the final goal is to give your users finally full control. I have a question to you, Daniela, since you mentioned that it really takes a long time to educate your users. What's actually the average time to get one customer of yours to fully operate the application? It's like months, years?
Yeah, you make me cry right now, but yes. So it really, when we're talking to bigger corporations, so say an Allianz or Bayersdorf, RWE, etc., it really can take 8 to 12 to 18 months in order to implement this kind of service. Why? Because you have to jump through all of their internal hoops. You have to go through data privacy checks, IT security assessments. We did at least 1 to 2 penetration tests every year. Why? Because we are doing this service for customers. So I think ours, there's a few softwares which have been tested so much, which with as ours, because every company or every bigger corporation really had to go through this process. So this is something that we won't be able to change. So if we have a bigger corporate customer, we still need to do this, but the real time of setting up the app itself is literally half an hour. If we don't go white label, you know, so that the process itself, but what you have is really the whole corporate data privacy and whatever other legal issues you have to deal with when you offer something like this to employees. What we are seeing right now is that we really are getting more and more customers, smaller customers, maybe 100, 200 employees, where it's either the HR department or the CEO themselves who just create an account and not just go for it, you know. And this is basically what we are aiming for. So we have the big corporates. We have actually started. They were our very first customer. We started with Ernst & Young back in 2015. They were our very first customer, and they went all the journey. They wanted to do a 1-week challenge, and right now they're in their 6th year with us. So we have the big names to show for, which help us sell now. And then, of course, we also do white label, something like for the Allianz. This also takes, of course, takes longer. So in order to do a white label, we maybe need 6 weeks. But the whole process of design and stuff and communicating with them included, you know. So I think it's still very, very quick. For them, it's light years, it's light speed. But we really try to be as efficient with our time as possible. And right now, what we're looking really for is to look at small and medium enterprises and really increase our market there, because we see a huge potential there in growth and to really get the whole SaaS idea much farther than the corporate customers we have right now.
For your answer. I have one more question related to the services you provide. Let's say when subscribers join services like Netflix, maybe they want to watch only comedies, right? Or some specific series. So some sort of primary service that they use, and then there are a lot of extra services. And how could you refer that to changers? What is a primary service, and is there a primary service, or it's really a package of services and it can't exist in any other form?
Yeah. So we have always internal discussion in terms of, do we do additional like add-ons? So have certain features that you have to pay additionally in order to receive them. Currently, we have we have our feature set in a way that you always buy the whole package. So when you come to us and you only want to do a step challenge and not use anything else on our app, but just count steps, you're still going to pay the same amount as someone who is going full on and uses the whole feature range. So we don't care, in parentheses, how our customers use the app. We give them full freedom. What we do care is if they want to use our time in terms of consulting. So if they want to have someone to talk to, they need to pay. So that's basically the difference we do. So software-wise, we are quite generous. And also when we have updates, so we are continuously working, we're continuously shipping new features, new stuff. This is all within the license fee. So if you have one license, it's kind of an evergreen thing. So you're always getting the benefit of everything we have implemented. If one of our customers has translated the app into a language, everyone else benefits from it. And so we also do feature requests or new features with customers and ship it to others. So this is a little bit like a growing community. But it might be at some point that maybe features which are very heavy or very specialized, that we say, okay, if you want to have this, you need to pay for it. But for now, we give them the whole range, and then they need to, in their settings, say if they like romantic comedies or thrillers, so that's on them.
Thank you very much for your reply. I think it was a lot of knowledge for all our attendants today. And at this moment, I would like to ask all the speakers to unmute themselves. And I think we are ready for a small group chat. So yeah, I will also ask our attendants if they have questions or would like to unmute themselves, reveal themselves, and ask anything about subscriptions. Now is the right time. Otherwise, I have some really good talking points to discuss. Okay, anyone would like to ask our speakers any questions? Then I start. Oh, Mehdi.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for the great presentation. I have a very special condition because I'm not from Germany, I'm from Iran, but I am looking forward to establishing a startup in Germany. And the main reason that I participated in this conference was that it was about the subscription-based economy. And I learned great points so far about it, but I want to know if we came up with questions about this issue after the meeting. May we contact the presenters about them later on, like after the meeting? Is that possible?
Yeah, sure. I think every one of us has shared their contact details. So at least I can speak for myself. I'm just throwing everyone else into the bucket, but yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Maybe I would just add a couple of words. Since maybe you mentioned about startups in Iran, you should know that we started our application phase for a new batch of deep tech startup accelerator in 2022. And actually in our current batch, we have one team with founders from Iran. So it's all possible, and I hope you apply for our scholarship, and we get to see you in Berlin.
Yeah, definitely, because you want to know more about my project? Sorry, did I get that right?
Maybe later, but I will give you this information now in the chat. In the meantime, does anyone else have any questions to our speakers? Then let's start with one interesting talking point. We mostly talk a lot, especially in startup segment, we talk a lot about product market fit. And in terms of subscription, what is the best product market fit? I invite you for a discussion here. So maybe Christian, since you are muted, you could start.
Oh, sure. Great. So personally, I don't think there's you can associate the product market fit to subscription in general. Mm-hmm. It's really a product market fit. So I think whatever product you have, it could fit based on the behavior of your users and be based on how you plan to roll it out. So also to Stanislav's point, subscription is going to be for everything, but it's really about understanding it's how ready your audience is to subscriptions, how educated they are, how much they are ready to include it in their daily life, and I can tell you from personal experience, when I first came to the US and I saw that people do a shaving razors subscription, I thought these guys are stupid. It's crazy. But then once you start getting used that you do everything online, you do everything, you expect everything to come to your place, things change a lot. So it's I think it's really about the education of the users and how you put yourself into their routine or their day to day. And as a side note, I think COVID and the fact that people got stuck home helped a lot in building subscription models.
I think there is also one big difference, which maybe I wasn't clear enough in talking about when you talk about subscriptions for B2C, so for end customers, or if you have a B2B business like ours, where also the subscription rate of course are definitely higher. And so this is something that I think also the business metrics are a little bit different when you're doing B2B or B2C. So that's, yeah.
Absolutely, there's a big difference between B2B and B2C. And just to add to the point of educating customers, that's true, but general pattern of using everything online and subscriptions and to be delivered to your place, as you just correctly pointed out, Christian, is actually so many people are educating our customers nowadays. I mean, everybody is educating them. So we're all benefiting from this global, digital economy that is out there. And even for any specific segment, there are I mean, if you're building a startup, you should immediately name like 20 possible, competitors or analogies for your product, and they all educating your customers as well as you do for them. So my only point here was that it's kind of inevitable. It's just whether we want it or not, whether we think it's stupid or not, it's just going that way. It's sometimes not too convenient, as always, to change our existing products and adapt them to this new client partners in demand. But it's a matter of evolution. You just have to adapt.
Thank you a lot, guys, for your points. I would like to come to the next one. So we faced a lot during last year actually, so-called Zoom fatigue, when people really can't stay long in the events. Luckily, we don't have it today. I see that only 2 or 3 people left during 1 hour, so we are doing well. Referring to subscription, at what point do you expect subscription fatigue to turn people away from subscriptions? Are we past this point already? You know, when people get sick of subscriptions in other way?
I would probably think it the other way. I mean, is there anything post subscription? This will be an interesting philosophical discussion. What can be next? Because the subscription now is like if you go to a retail shop and you just buy things and you pay with a credit card, it's your daily routine. And then subscription is going to be the same daily routine. You just subscribe, and that's the way it goes. It's just no one already is asking why. It's already like it's there. And by the way, the Zoom fatigue is there, but it's like a wave, and it's getting back to normal because now you have a good mixture of meeting people in person and video calls. But even I, being a super old school person and hate meeting online generally, I have to admit that it is nowadays for me just easier to just video call, my friend or colleague overseas and just have a quick chat rather than just jump on the plane and fly there. Mm-hmm. So it's just more convenient.
I think I like your point here about what's coming next, and I think with increasing subscriptions, we're going to need subscription aggregators, a place to easily manage all the subscription you have. So we've seen this a lot with credit cards and other services that you aggregate in one place, but I think subscription aggregator will be something we're going to be needing more and more. And maybe the next step would be predictive purchasing. So we don't subscribe anymore, but the data knows that we want to purchase and just buys it for us. So there's the subscription is a set time, set frequency, and what will happen is it's going to have to adapt more to every person and have everyone has their own subscription frequency, own subscription model. What do you think, Stan?
Completely agree with you, and that's what I'm saying of the world beyond or after the subscriptions. Yes, definitely. I guess there will be, subscriptions on top of the subscriptions. There will be like a lot of those things like those chargebacks as you see in the credit cards or whatnot. So like for a user, something may even be perceived as free, but the suppliers will just share some discounts between them and have it as a subscription, a zero subscription fee. So what I'm saying is that the world is just naturally going to a more comfort for the clients, and I guess you're absolutely right. There will be next level of those simplifications.
Maybe you could say that it's just the level of convenience is going to matter, no matter how the service is going to look like at the end. And I really like the point with just saying at some point it's just going to be predictive, and there's going to be a huge amount of people who are just going to go for it. It's talking about Netflix. I don't know if you guys saw that there is now also the button when you scroll long enough. It's going to show you, oh, you don't know what you want to see, just click on this button and then you get some random movie shown based on your behavior. So this is already sort of being introduced or happening. So yeah.
Let's go back on Earth and speak on some practical thing, or maybe more operational one, because definitely predictive subscription is probably a topic for our next event, actually. So when someone is about to cancel, what is the best way to save the relationship with your customer?
I probably cannot say what's the best way, because that's always arguable and it depends on the specific situation and product. What we are trying to do is we're trying to convince our customer to downgrade to a free version back again and just stay there for free, just to keep the communication channel open. So that's our strategy. I'm not sure if it's the only one and it's the best, but that's what we do.
So actually with our B2B customers, we just let them go. So there's no way you can really argue with companies. If they want to leave, they're gonna leave. And what we can do is be in good terms. And what we have is recurring users who just say, I'm going to do a 2 or 3 months challenge every year and do this for the 3 years, 3rd year in a row. So they come for 3 months, then they go away and they come back next month. So we are next year. So this is something we're seeing rather on a yearly level. This could be also some sort of subscription. But we are not like I think Audible is amazing when you try to cancel an account with them. I think they walk you through 30 screens asking you to say, no, don't leave us. Okay, we're going to give you a feedback. Are you ready? Are you sure? You're going to pause? Let's pause. Okay, let's pause 2 months. No, okay, let's pause 3 months. We give you half the price for 3 months. Are you really, really sure? You're gonna lose all the books you're going to. So it really goes forever. I walked through it once or twice. I actually did screenshots because I thought it was amazing. You can do this with end customers. You can't do this with companies.
You cancel?
You cancel?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wanted to cancel, and I just thought it was hilarious. But I'm very stubborn, so if I want to cancel, I cancel. But I think that a lot of people get discouraged by this because it was very, very pushy. I was surprised. At some point, I was annoyed, but because I was like, yes, I am sure.
Yeah, I would say maybe the most important part is that if a customer wants to leave, is to understand why they're leaving, so that you don't have other people leaving the same way. So maybe understand if your market is changing, if your product is required differently, if it's the price, if it's the feature, if it's really giving them the place to communicate. And also to Daniela's point is ask them do you mind if we reach out to you back in 6 months? Maybe it's not for you now, but maybe we can tell what we did, what we changed by then, and then we can reach back to you. And I've seen products where they hide the unsubscribe, or where you have to send them an email and then they respond to you. They have a manual process for it. I personally don't think it's a good idea either. So I think if you love them, set them free. So and then try to get the most out of it.
I really like the point that we developed here, that subscription is a lot about communication, much more about communication than simple selling process. And you need to find some balance where to allow your customer just to go and hope that they come back themselves and not to push them. I would like thank you guys for, sure.
Do you think that subscription economy will lead to more waste and more consumption? That's for the other panelists.
Oh.
People will buy.
That's a knockoff question at the end of the meeting. Actually, I think it's gonna make it more efficient. So no, I think it's going to be. When we're talking about products, it might just be wasteful because you're getting sent things that you don't really need because you just have the subscription ongoing. That's what you mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good point. I never really thought about it.
Stanislav, what do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess that's again because this is so multiverse of everything. I mean, the subscription itself doesn't do it more or less, wasteful, right? It's just a way to buy goods. After all, the question is whether the society will still buy what they don't need. Yes, they will actually. My personal belief, right, is that humans are humans. They will continue to consume, and I just hope that there will be better and better ways to recycle, right? What's been unnecessarily used, or be more and more efficient ways to produce things, not wasting everything around and using not using water, or use little water, or don't cut trees and all of that. So I'm personally believer in not in decreasing the consumption, but in the increasing the efficiency of production, of clean production, or of a total recycling of all what's produced.
It's quite a fair point. So, I would like to thank everyone for these questions and giving us a lot of insights about subscriptions today. At this point, we have some attendants, like I see Thomas, Nyla, another Thomas, Maura. Guys, maybe you have anything to ask our speakers, or you simply want to thank them in the chat one more time because they did a wonderful job today.
Yes, I would like to thank all of you for your great presentations, actually. I'm Nyla, and I have a question, actually. I think, Chris, you mentioned in your presentation slides that there is a special relationship with the first customers, right? So you have to kind of honor those grandfather users, I think you call them.
Yes.
What is your experiences on how to handle them? So what are the kind of different models for that?
All right. So it depends on I think on the amount of people you have on these old plans. Usually the easiest way to handle it is to offer them more than they had before for the same price or less. So upgrade them to a better plan with cheaper, or reach out to them and treat them as ambassadors. Getting their feedback on what this is what we're planning to do. Let them feel involved so that you don't come in as pushing a decision on them, but more as them including them in the decision, basically. I think that would be the two options I have. I think also that if you have an old plan that if you can afford not to keep that plan, don't keep it, because it's a lot of headache on the accounting side, on the operation side, also on the development side. So if you can avoid that, bite the bullet, spend a bit more money on these people to get them something nicer and cheaper, and move forward with your business. I hope this answers.
Thanks. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
If you allow me to add to this, I would say that in my experience, because the products are naturally evolving into a more complex for less price, again, right, depends on the industry, obviously, but at least in the financial industry, in time, any product is evolving into the naturally, right, that you're offering more for less money. And when you're speaking about those old plans and initial customers, that, let's be clear, they just get less services for more expensive, for more commissions. I guess there are just two options, right? If they pay you well, or they pay the costs to maintain them, don't touch them. It's just good business you made. But because naturally you start offering more products for cheaper price, then I guess Christian's suggestion is the most obvious thing. You just upgrade them to a new plan, which is cheaper, and they will accept it and get better product offering.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nella. It was a great question. I would like to ask in the meantime, so Maura, okay, Thomas, I see you thanked us. So Ali, Mehdi, or if we talk outside of questions, feel free now to unmute yourself and to start networking with our speakers. That's also an option. And I think I would maybe make at this time some closing remarks for the event. So we just go to the networking part, which is always free floating. I would like to thank one more time for the presentations today. I think the event went really successful, and we got into the understanding why we are doing subscriptions. And I think our future forum events will be really specific, maybe how to do white labeling for subscriptions, or which payment tools are better for subscriptions today. And I would also invite you to our other upcoming SIBB events. We have each sessions, also hybrid events coming up next 2 weeks. We talked today about digital transformation. We'll have an event on blockchain in 2 weeks. So please check our schedule. Have 3-4 events per week minimum. So looking forward to have you attending our events. And thanks a lot. We did a great job today. And now I leave you guys for the networking part. Thank you.